Hi, I'm Marty Schupak. Welcome to Schupak Sports. We talk about different sports tips, strategies. We even do interviews with people involved in sports and youth sports. Today, we're going to talk about T-ball. And early in the T-ball season, what you as a coach, if you're coaching a team, and even as a parent, what you might be up against. But before we do, and you all know I love trivia, I'll ask you a trivia question. We'll have the answer at the end. As you all know, I'm a huge baseball fan, and I will want to ask you this. Opening day, the presidents a lot of times will throw out the first ball. Question is, who was the first president to start this tradition to throw out the first baseball on an opening day? See if you can get that. Name the president. I'll throw in a bonus question. And who caught that first baseball? We're going to get back to that at the end of this. Anyway, as far as early in the season, you became a T-ball coach. And if it's your first time coaching, you may be a little nervous. You really owe it to yourself to investigate the field, look for a lot of different resources on T-ball. Go to your local library, go online, talk to other coaches. I know it's only T-ball, but you really want to have a positive impact on a lot of these kids. And the goal is you want to have these kids come back and play baseball or softball the next year. Keep in mind that your kids that you have, and around the country, there's a pretty big age disparity. In our local league here, I'm outside of New York City, our T-ball is for 5 and 6 year olds. I've known different places around the country where it starts as young as 4 and goes as high as 7 for whatever reason. Keep in mind, some first year kids will be nervous, which is very normal. But besides that, not only the kids, you're going to have some parents that are nervous too. And usually it's the parents that were involved in sports when they were younger, let's say in high school, middle school, or maybe even college. They want their kids to succeed. All right. And some of them might be competitive, and we want to keep T-ball as uncompetitive as we can. Remember, our goal is to put T-ball players in a position to succeed. As far as competition, there's going to be plenty of time if you keep your son or daughter involved in baseball or softball for competition. Trust me, don't make it competitive in this age group. Keep it simple, keep it fun, keep it nice and easy. At the beginning, remember the parents will be nervous too. I recommend you have a parents meeting, and if you haven't seen it, look in our YouTube channel for the parents meeting. I have one special episode on a parents meeting, and I highly recommend it. Parents meetings shouldn't last longer than 10 or 20 minutes, but it's a good idea. And not only is it a good idea, but it's a great idea to get in the habit. If you're going to have a coaching career in youth sports, you want to get in the habit of having a yearly parents meeting. And a little side note, as you coach every year, you'll change your parents meeting a little bit. And you'll do this for a couple of reasons. You want to cover things you never covered. And also, when you do have problems with one or more parents, and you'll say to yourself, I should have covered that in the parents meeting, the following year, you'll cover it. Early in the T-ball season, okay, my strongest advice to you is start out playing with the kids games they are familiar with. An example of that could be like a relay race, and you can put in a baseball theme. And what I mean by that is if you have 2 or 3 lines where the kids have to go run around the cone and come back, touch the next player. What I like to do is have everybody have a baseball glove, put a ball in their mitt, in the glove, and they have to squeeze it. We're teaching kids to squeeze the ball because we don't want the ball to fall out. When they run around the cone and they come back, instead of just touching the next person, they take out the ball and they hand it to them. We're doing a game, having the kids involved in a game that they're familiar with and has a baseball theme. You could do the same thing with red light, green light, 1, 2, 3, where the kids could run to touch the player, that's it, with a glove and a ball in their hand. Remember, when the kids are familiar with an activity, they'll feel more relaxed, and you'll see that they'll absorb more from you as you coach the skills. Talking about the skills too, I highly recommend you keep it as a pattern of 1 or 2 skills you're going to teach, followed by a fun drill or a fun game. This formula works. I've used it for years, over 25 years, close to 30 years. Even with anywhere from 8 all the way up to like 16 or 18, I always stick in a fun game. And again, 2 or 3 skill drills followed by a fun game. And I'll relate a story to you. I'm a huge NFL fan. Years ago, I was at a practice, and it was a day that the temperature was over like 100 degrees. And the coach was really running these players ragged. And you could see they were dragging by the end of the 2.5 hour practice. But this was a smart coach, and actually was a Super Bowl winning coach. And he knew what was going on. And what he did was, and he had it planned, at the end of the practice, he told the guys that he's going to have a game of touch football, 4-on-4, with the lineman, offensive lineman against the defensive lineman. And if the offensive lineman won, the defensive coaches would have to run around the track once. And vice versa. If the offensive team won, the defensive coaches would have to run around. Did I say that right? Well, you know what I mean. But anyway, and as he was dividing up the teams, the players were exhausted. You could see they started perking up. He had the assistant coaches go around besides the water, giving them ice pops. And I want to tell you, as soon as this game of touch football started, the whole atmosphere changed. The guys were whooping and hollering because they wanted the other coaches to do the lap. And it didn't last more than 10 or 15 minutes. And I'll tell you, you could see they came out on a high. So no matter what the age, even if you end up coaching in high school or college, stick in a fun game or a fun activity. It definitely is worthwhile. I like to give parental tips, and I'd like to give you guys one too. All right. Remember this quote: love your child the most when they deserve it the least. If your child gets in trouble, there's nothing wrong with saying, we're here to support you and we'll overcome the issue. You guys are coaching or involved in T-ball. Your kids are young. They're going to be growing up, and it happens very quickly. There are a lot of distractions. There are a lot of bad kids out there. You have to keep an eye on them. But if they ever get in trouble, just remember, you're the parents. It's your job to support them. So I'll say it again. Love your child the most when they deserve it the least. Okay? All right, we're going to wrap this up. And before we do, I just want to show you one drill. All right? And then I'll give you the answer to the trivia question. This is a drill. It's called bowling between legs. I'll hold it close. What we're doing is we're having a player or a coach put an item under between their legs. And in this case, it's a like plastic milk carton. And the player has to roll a kickball or a soccer ball, try to get it between the legs and knock it down. It's a fun activity. I've done it with my kids. Be creative with it. You could line up a few kids in a row on both sides. You could put items between them, like plastic milk cartons, create a point system. If they get it between the legs of a player, it's 2 points. If they knock down milk carton on the side. It's 1 point. Kids love games. Kids love competition. Bowling between legs is a great game. Okay, now, as far as products, today I'm going to point out my book, T-Ball Drills. It has 110 drills. I guarantee you'll love this book. A lot of the drills I have: hitting, throwing, base running. You won't be without drills to do during a T-ball practice, and most of these drills you could do at home. T-ball Drills is the book. My name's Marty Schupak. Okay, now the trivia question was, which president was the first president to start out throwing out the first ball in opening day of baseball? The answer is, and I have to look up to see it, is William Howard Taft. In 1910, the Washington Senators were playing the Philadelphia Athletics. So that's the answer, William Howard Taft, and the year was 1910. And interestingly, the person to catch the ball was Walter Johnson, the great Hall of Fame pitcher. So I'm going to close this out, and just remember, there's a superstar in every child, in every son or daughter, and I'm trying to help you find out what it is. And until next time, for Schupak Sports. Oh, by the way, if you like what you hear or what you're seeing, please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. It helps us motivate ourselves to put out nice, fresh content, and we'll continue to do that. Please share this episode. Please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. And until next time, I'll meet you at third base.